Welcome, students of all ages, boys and girls, gentlemen and germs, all that. I am going to start to create a series because I'm getting a lot of the same questions over pertaining to more complexities outside of the assignment that some people want to get better at. So I'm kind of keeping track of things that are asked of me on a constant basis and doing videos on them to help you. I'm hoping to put it in resources. It could be in the assignment as well. And I just want to go over how to break stuff down in quick little videos, things here and there. And you can pick and choose which one would you like to do first. Okay, so this is just a series to add more help on assignments or things you might be interested in learning to add to your assignments to make your artwork better. You should be always working on making your artwork better. Be better than what you were yesterday in anything. I don't care if it's art, football, um, or water polo. Yep, I went with water polo. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Boom. Water polo. Yeah, swim. They don't touch the ground. So, with that said, listen for that transition as always. And the next video will be coming up shortly. Enjoy. All right, here are tips on the eye. So I got my nice artist pencil here. It's a mechanical pencil. I got it tapered so I can get thick and thin lines whenever I want. I'm using a HB pencil. So it's short going up, long going across, both at a slants, then short coming down, long going back. That is the basic structure of the eye. You can kind of see it coming into focus now. Short going up, top of the eyelid, and then down, short going down, and then long ways. Showed you there that I got a thick and thin line, so I'm going to use thick and thin lines. Your line work is going to be important because the thickness will help show shadow. So on the top of the eyelid, you definitely want it darker than the bottom because there's going to be shadow. Light comes from the top, shadow is at the bottom. When you go outside, light is in the sky. When you come inside, light is normally on the ceiling. As humans, we mimic our natural environment. So drawing lines here, I'm getting the eye. You notice that the iris is a large part of the eye. That's how I normally draw it. You want to kind of that connection because all too often if you draw it too small, they tend to look crazy. So see here I'm showing the circle and the circle of the eye. So what I'm doing now is called a catch light. I'm putting that in there. Notice the top of my eyelid's dark. Notice where I have and then where the eyeball rests in the brown. Notice that I get a lot of shadowing going there, and it's darker right next to the eye because that's going to be the distance furthest back. It's going to have the most shadow and not be exposed to the light. I'm drawing the iris in. If you could see where the lines are for the iris, is normally the lines are a little thicker on top and they thin down as they come. That also helps show shadow and light and form. Oh my. So now I'm shading stuff in. I'm keeping in mind where my light source is. So the middle of the top of the eyelid is going to be lighter and around it's going to be darker. Trying to shade in a form that is round. That's going to help give you depth and form. I understand you have whites in your eyes, but you're going to want to shade the whites of the eyes to show a little bit of shadow. Because they may be white, but they're not like Batman eyes or comic book eyes to where they're just bright white. There's going to be some shadow along the eye. You can see how this is starting to form together quite quickly. I'm keeping my light source consistent. So if you look at the bottom of the eye where there's the skin, that light source is in the center just like it is on top. Now I'm explaining the eye here and how it sits. You have your brow, you have the roundness of the eye there, underneath the brow, and where the shadows are going to be. The different planes. You have one plane that is underneath where your brow is, and one on top. And then you have the plane of the sphere of the eye. And you want to keep that in mind as basic shapes where shadows are going to be. We've all had that second sketchbook assignment where you did 3D objects and you shadowed them. This still comes into play. This helps accentuate what you need to do. So I'm smudging in a little bit, doing little circles for shading, adding more pressure to get the darker lead. You start off light and you go slowly towards the darker. I'm reinforcing, adding more contrast so that I have dark darks or dark shadows, midtones, and highlights. And you see how that's coming out. Definitely, you can see where I have the darker areas where the shadows are supposed to be, where the top of the eyelid is, where it sets in the brow. Top of the eyelash will be darker than the bottom. Underneath, just right underneath the eye where the bag is, when you have baggy eyes, it's going to be darker because has less light coming to it because the light comes from the top. And this is basically how you draw an eye. Oh, and I'm putting lashes in, dulling it up a little bit. There we go. So I'm going to have lashes. You want it to gather. You don't want to just put lashes in there. So it should go around in a fan pattern. All right, enjoy.